Welcome to Grab Your Gear. I am Joe. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of Grab Your Gear. And full disclosure, got a text message from Jack Windsor, who is normally with us from the Ohio Press Network. He is the founder and managing editor of that publication. And he was deathly ill at 3 o'clock in the morning. Normally when somebody texts you at 3 o'clock in the morning, unless you're me, you're deathly ill. Hopefully Jack will feel better. We need to get back in touch with him. He hopes to recover in a day or two, and then we will come on because he's been covering a story over in Springfield. He's been spending a lot of time over there, and we've also been working with him with our Grab Your Gear team, and producing some of his segments has been Apprentice Isabella, who actually is going to step in for a few minutes as we do a little preview of maybe what Jack's going to talk about once he recovers. Apprentice Isabella, you were in Springfield working the camera, doing some producing. I guess with all the stuff you hear in the main normal, I guess, corporate media, some people call it mainstream. It's kind of the traditional media. I don't even know if you follow that stuff, but what struck you about Springfield when you got there? I mean, were there 9,000 Haitians waiting on you? Were there people with tiki torches trying to burn people? Were there bad drivers? Were there people eating cats alongside the road? What'd you see?
Oh yeah, all of that. No, I'm
All
totally
right.
kidding. Actually, funny enough, one of the things that surprised me was the amount of Haitians we actually did see, only because I was kind of going into it expecting this whole thing has been conflated. It's not as big of a deal as it is. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do notice that they are there. Another thing that was also really surprising, well, not really surprising per se. I guess it's to be expected, but there's a ton of media there right now.
Yeah.
We were walking around and just almost everywhere we went, there was someone with a camera, either taking photos, filming something. And so it just added a really interesting energy to the town. It just being there, it totally felt like something big was going on there. Um,
So when you're there, it's a mix of Haitians and media.
yes.
So it's like a political convention for Haiti.
Maybe a little bit, but actually more I would say it's I don't know how else to describe it. It almost feels like it's a reality TV show that people are kind of viewing this town as. Because there, I mean, obviously there's also the Springfield citizens there. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
can't forget about them.
no, of course not. Which unfortunately, it actually kind of feels like people have been forgetting about them. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the things. So Jack and I, we had the privilege of being able to talk to a couple of the citizens there. In case you guys have been following us on our social media accounts, we have been posting clips from those interviews. And one of the things that also just really stuck with me is just um, you kind of would expect more anger from these people. You would expect more resentment towards the immigrants, but actually that's not the case. The main message that we continue to get from the citizens was the fact that they aren't mad at the Haitians. They aren't angry for them being there. They're pursuing the American dream, which is honestly all we can really hope for people. More, they're just frustrated at the situation and how the situation's being handled. They understand that it's not necessarily the Haitians' fault. It's how the government is basically laying out the red carpet for these people to just come in, but they're also kind of abandoning these Haitians. They are they are dropping them off in Springfield and then not giving them any more guidance. And you have to understand, I mean, there's a ginormous cultural difference between Haiti and Springfield, Ohio. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much more we could talk about there, but yeah, I mean, overall, the way that the media is depicting Springfield and Springfield citizens is it's anyone who is upset about the Haitians being there are racist or angry or whatever, and that's just not the case.
Okay, so a couple things, and then we'll let Jack when he comes on after he's recovered. But I do at least want to touch on a couple things. You can give me the 60,000 foot view. Um, is there a group or groups behind this? I mean, they talk about the NGOs. Is it really obvious that there are groups bringing these people in, and this just isn't a natural migration?
Yes, I mean the short answer of it is yes.
Okay.
The what it seems to be happening, and obviously Jack and I are trying to do more research on this to have further evidence to back us up, but from the interviews that we had and from just the overall sense that we've gotten is that companies like First Diversity Staffing and other St. De Paul's community are getting paid to bring in these Haitians. They're either
Who's
getting
paying them? Who's paying
the
them?
government,
Do you
yeah.
know?
So they're getting either tax deductions or they are just straight up getting reimbursed. Yeah, exactly.
So is that both state and federal government? Do you know? Or is it something you're still looking into?
I don't take my word from it. I believe it is both. I would want to double check that before you take my word as gospel. But my understanding is that it is both. There overall right now there is a federal incentive to kind of be encouraging these welcoming these immigrants. Which is what's hard about it is that it's actually very much a gray area right now, and this is why it's making. I mean, what's happening in Springfield is happening across the country. The reason why Springfield is just under the limelight right now is because of the whole cats and dogs thing that had kind of started. Even though, again, the broad story that we heard about related to the cats and geese and whatever was maybe they're eating them, maybe they're not. There's just so much more we could be talking about. So yeah, it's really interesting. And one of the things that's kind of hard is that like every time you think you've found a solution to something, it feels like 5 more problems crop up. So
it is straining, and I know you guys are working on this, but it is the 3 areas that keep popping up, at least in the reporting I've seen you guys do. Schools, city infrastructure, and traffic. Those seem to be taking significant hits, and those are pretty important things if you live in a community. You want your schools to be good. You want your infrastructure to work, like water, sewage, and all that stuff. You want fires to be put out. You want police to be on call. And traffic issues, when I say traffic issues, they've had a number of incidences where people from Haiti have been driving either without a license, in some cases, I guess, without a license plate on the car, and have gotten in traffic accidents.
Yep.
Is that true?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
That's what I've heard.
No, it's true. We actually had one gentleman told us that the accidents have almost been like extraordinary in nature. When one thing that he said he mentioned that he saw once is that there had been a car that had been completely turned over in a 35 miles per hour zone with no other cars around. There's also been reports that the police officers have actually been told that if they end up pulling over someone or come across a car that is unregistered or doesn't have a driver's license, even though they're technically supposed to arrest them, they've been told not to. So this is definitely a thing that is happening. And one of the things that also a lot of people are speaking to is they don't understand where these immigrants are getting these cars, because they're getting $20,000, $30,000 SUVs. And again, I want to make it clear, I'm not blaming the Haitians for that. If anyone said, "Here, have a car," you're gonna be like, "Yeah, great, thanks." Again, it's a cultural difference. Like, we spoke to a Haitian gentleman actually, and he said that over in Haiti, the word permit for them means permission. And so when they're told they have a driver's permit, for us, that means you're learning to drive. But for them, they're like, great, I get to drive. And this is, one of the examples of just they're not being taught how to assimilate, and it's creating problems. But also, they're being given driver's license without having to take a driver's test.
Schools are overwhelmed. Did you get a sense?
Yeah. So we spoke to a mother, and she said that the schools are starting, have almost doubled in their sizes. And one of the things that they're also struggling with is that these teachers aren't being given translators. So they are having Haitian children who don't speak English put into their classrooms without help on translating the lesson plan. And so what it's also creating is now these teachers are having to spend their time trying to focus on getting these kids to understand what they need from them. And then the children who do speak English are kind of being neglected because the teacher is having her his or her attention pulled elsewhere. It's a mess. And the other thing, I mean, and thankfully we haven't had it recently, but there were also the bomb threats, which was causing the schools to close down. So, which meant children were getting even less time in the classroom. And when they are in the classroom, they're not getting the attention that they need because their teacher's overwhelmed by 50% more kids who don't speak English. Jeez. I know.
My wife is in education, and I can imagine of all the other crap you deal with in a public school nowadays, throw that on it,
I know.
and it's a mess. One last thing. The bomb threats you guys confirmed, actually, those came from out of the country, didn't they?
That's what they're saying.
Okay.
What's actually funny is that it kind of feels like that just got swept aside. It was just DeWine came on. For those who didn't see, DeWine did a press conference and came
The
on
governor
and said,
of Ohio.
the governor of Ohio. Yep, he came on, did a press conference and said, yeah, so actually it turns out the multiple bomb threats that we were getting that were causing shops and schools and stuff to close down, yeah, those were fake and they came out of the country, so don't even worry about it, you guys. Anyway, moving on.
So you guys have done a number of videos. Where are the stories you guys have done? Where have you posted those, and how many have gone up?
Yeah, so we have posted, I believe, 5 at this point. You can find them on Jack Windsor's X account, which is at the real Jack Windsor. Okay. Or you can find them on our social media accounts. We have posted them on TikTok, Instagram, X, and Facebook. So you can all find them there. Grab your gear on all of the platforms.
The Grab Your Gear platforms have all of them. Last thing before we go, you guys going back? Are you planning on going back? Do you know?
I think we are. Yeah. I mean, one of the things we talked about last time we were there, initially we were only going to go once. And every time we go back, we're like, shoot, I think we're going to have to come back because there's just so much there. So definitely stay tuned. I think we're going to be trying to make more content there. But yeah, it's crazy.
All in an election year, too.
I know.
Vivek Ramaswamy did a town hall there, which people can probably see online. When you guys were there, did you expect to see President Trump, or is there rumors he's going to Springfield? Do you know?
Yeah, so I have heard that Trump wants to go. He has said that he wants to go. We were actually kind of expecting him and Vivek to be there at the same time, but obviously that didn't happen. There's actually speculation, though. The mayor of Springfield recently put Springfield in a state of an emergency.
Yeah.
And so people are suspecting that the mayor is going to cite that as a reason to prevent Trump from coming, saying, oh no, we can't have the influx of people coming. We're in a state of emergency. Even though the reason why he said they're in the state of emergency is the bomb threats. But he announced that the day after the bomb threats were disproven. It's a mess. It's so confusing.
So he's full of crap, basically, right? I mean, the mayor's the local distributor of crapola in Springfield.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, okay, so your reporting goes on those platforms. Those are short stories, and you have probably another one going up today. I mean, are you doing more?
Yeah, okay. I mean, we're going to do more until people scream at us to stop, because, I mean, this is the stuff that people aren't talking about. Everyone's focused on the cats and dogs part. Yeah.
I'm even getting emails from people I used to work with around the country. They're going, what is going on in Springfield, Ohio? And this is this generic, what is going on in Springfield? It's not like, they've kind of given up on the eating cats and dogs and things, and they're going, so what's really going on in Springfield, Ohio? So hopefully we tell that story. Apprentice Isabella, thanks for filling in for Jack. Hopefully he feels better. And again, you can catch those stories on the Ohio Press Network, Jack's Twitter page, which is the real Jack Windsor, on X, I still call it Twitter, and of course get all of it on the Grab Your Gear platforms. And hopefully you get more informed. Hopefully Jack feels better. We'll catch up with him in a day or two. In the meantime, you have a great day. We'll be back again, probably later this week, with another episode of Grab Your Gear. So until then, we will see you then. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.